Well, Timothy Hagle is a professor of political science at the University of Iowa in the United States. Professor Hagle, good to have you with us today. How surprising is it that these charges have been unsealed, and what more did we learn?
Well, it's not exactly surprising. We've known for some time that this investment was going on, along with a couple of others, one in Georgia and one in D.C. And so it was just a matter of when we were going to hear whatever it was that the investigators were found. Now, it is a little bit surprising in terms of the number of counts that are being levied against Trump. But on the other hand, the first 31 of those counts have to do with individual documents. So in that sense, it's quite large. But it was also a matter of what he was going to be charged with. And aside from charges with holding documents that were supposedly classified, and there's still some question about that, it was also the cover-up. And as sometimes people often say, it's often the cover-up that gets you.
Cover-up worse than the crime, of course, the Watergate scandal for that reason. Mishandling classified documents, including US nuclear secrets and military plans, very serious allegations. What kind of dangers could these actions have led to if they were leaked out?
Well, that's the thing, and there are two aspects to this. The first is whether those documents were still classified. Some of Trump's supporters and Trump himself will say, well, look, as president, he could have declassified that information, and that's all well and good, and we'll still have to determine whether that was the case. But the problem still is that if that information is sensitive in some way, which is why it was classified in the first place, that there's a real problem in terms of showing it to other people or leaving it in places where people could find that information.
And could former President Trump go to prison for this? Is that even desirable for the country to send a former president to prison?
I don't know that it's desirable, and of course many people, again, Trump supporters, but even some people that don't necessarily support Trump per se, are concerned about this because of the political aspects. So here you have not just a former president, but the person that's the leading contender for the Republican nomination against Joe Biden for the 2024 election. And so in that respect, it seems very political, plus different, how it's been handled differently from, say, Hillary Clinton and all of that. People point that out very quickly. But it can be problematic. Now, whether he'll go to jail, probably not. You probably would have some sort of a thing where he would pay a fine if he doesn't go to trial. Now, if he goes to trial and continues to assert his innocence, and if he's found guilty, there's some possibility of going to jail, but my guess is that, again, it will probably be more likely a fine of some sort.
And we heard in Nietzsche's report just before, Special Counsel Jack Smith, who's overseeing the investigation, he's been labelled by Donald Trump as a deranged psycho. These charges helping Mr. Trump raise money, boost his base, and what are the implications for Trump's run for the presidency again?
This is something that it's just not clear how this is going to shake out. That Trump supporters, again, will see this as purely political, and there are political aspects to this. There's no doubt about that. The question is that did Trump still do the things that he's accused of doing, particularly the conspiracy charges and the withholding of evidence and things of that nature? And so there are going to be a number of Republicans as we go through here in Iowa, the caucus process and other states' primaries, that there are Republicans that say, well, yeah, I support Donald Trump, but gee, it's just getting too much drama around him. And again, these charges are more serious than the earlier indictments from the state of New York, which just could be dismissed almost as purely political and probably won't hold up. But these are more serious, and there have been prominent political figures that have been found guilty of charges that are very similar to these.
Well, Timothy Hagle, Professor of Political Science at the University of Iowa, we really appreciate your thoughts today. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Good to be with you.